Welcome back, everybody, to another live reaction here at I'm Not a Coach. I'm your host, Dave Huerta. Thank you so much for joining us on this Thursday night game to start week 8, man. Holy cow. Had some technical issues here. For some reason, software was not working, but we got it going. Hopefully, you guys can see me. Please let me know in the chat if you can. And obviously, kickoff went into the end zone, and we're going to start out at the 30 for the Minnesota Vikings here. Darnold in the pistol, two running backs in the backfield. It's going to be a handoff up the middle. Aaron Jones getting about 5 yards on the carry. But yeah, we got I think this is going to be a very, very interesting matchup, I feel. Obviously, both of these teams are almost on the other side of the spectrum. You have a 5-1 Minnesota team, obviously coming off their first loss, but they look good. Darnold under center, single back in the backfield, looking, throwing to his left, and he gets Jefferson on a nice little slant route, gain of about 10 yards. That'll be 1st and 10 for Minnesota. But Minnesota has looked obviously amazing in their first 5 weeks. Tough loss last week against Detroit, but even then they still looked very good. They led until the last few seconds of that game. So easily this team could, one missed field goal by Detroit at the end there, and we could be looking at a 6-0 Minnesota team. Darnold under center, handoff up the middle. Jones breaks a tackle, turns to the right, gets to the outside, and it's going to be a gain of about 9.5 on there. But once again, looking at some of the things that Minnesota is doing offensively, they have looked phenomenal. Darnold, maybe not as high as he's been in the last few weeks. Handoff up the middle. Jones, once again, getting some tough yardage there. Gain of about 4. That'll be another first down for Minnesota. And speaking of Darnold, once again, maybe not as strong as he's been in the first month of, in September, but he's still playing very efficient. Last week, just one touchdown, one interception. But once again, he was leading that offense fairly well. Receiver in motion to the left, fakes the handoff. Darnold looking, throwing over the middle, and he finds Jefferson on a nice little deep route there. That is a first down for Minnesota. It looks like we have a few Los Angeles Rams players down on the ground. And it looks like it might be the safety Cam Curl. Yeah, Jefferson running a nice deep stick route there, getting about almost 15 yards down the field, and then just planting that foot, turning around, catching that ball. And then obviously having Aaron Jones back, that has been huge for this offense. I think they really did miss him. I think that's when you started to see some of the Darnold that we kind of saw in the past. I think he was not necessarily forcing anything, but I think he knew he had to make a bit more, some bigger plays when you don't have a guy like Aaron Jones who, once again, the issue in Green Bay was never his ability when he was on the field. It was his availability. I think that's one big reason why Green Bay wanted to, one, restructure his deal, but not, on top of that, they were willing to move on from him just because he was always dealing with injuries. And obviously, he dealt with some hip injuries in the middle of this season thus far. But when he's healthy and he's, Jones, in my opinion, is a legitimate top 10 back. He doesn't get the accolades or even maybe the exposure of like a Derrick Henry or Zeke Elliott when he was in his prime. But Jones, man, he's phenomenal. Great dude. And I think this offense is going to be a lot better with him. And I think you're seeing that early on, clearly. But at the same time, man, the Rams, their defense, I think is a little bit underrated. I think they obviously miss a guy like Donald, who retired this offseason. So obviously, when you lose a generational talent on defense like him, you're obviously going to see a little bit of a drop down. But I think the biggest thing with the Rams, they've done a very solid job of retooling and restocking with all the draft picks that they've been able to, gather over the last couple seasons. Ever since they stopped trading away those picks, and they're very young. A lot of young talent there. That's, in my opinion, rising. And I think Sean McVay has done a very good job of maximizing the talent that he's been given. And the defense, I think, is very underrated. I think they do certain things well. I think they're okay against the run, even though they're I would say their numbers may not show that. I think they're very solid against the run. I think they can do very well, especially when it stays when the in between the tackles. Once it kind of bounces out, you're going to see a lot more of those big explosive plays. I think you saw a little bit of that with that 9-yard run by Jones on this drive thus far. And I think they can take it away. I do believe that they have the ability to be able to get takeaways in this game, and I think Darnold's going to give them one or two. Just the way he's been throughout his career, and even this season, he's usually been able to, he's usually given the defense, that one to maybe two throws, and it's going to be up to the Rams to be able to capitalize on those. And then I'll talk about the Rams offense in a little bit here. So 1st and 10, ball at the 25 of Los Angeles. It's going to be another run up the middle. Jones picking his way for a gain of about almost 4. So we got Chris Shula, who is a defensive coordinator there. I think he's been doing a very solid job. I think he's an up and coming kind of guy, kind of like in the Jeff Hafley mold in a way. Definitely different schemes. The Rams don't play as much man or at least aggressively as Hafley's defense does. It's going to be a throw right up the middle, and that is Jefferson for a huge first down, and he is going to be at the 5-yard line. In Minnesota, man, they are just getting down the field, man. There is no fear in them. And this is obviously where the Rams are weakest. Their defense, offensively, like I said, we're going to talk about them here when they get on the field. And obviously they're going to get some big returning players on that offense that will hopefully be able to keep pace with this Minnesota offense that has been phenomenal. All right, 1st and goal. Ball at the 5. Jefferson at the bottom of the screen. Tight end in motion. And Darnold looking, throwing to the tight end, who is streaking across the field from the right to the left. And that is a touchdown for the Minnesota Vikings. Nice little shallow crossing route by the tight end. He started on the left side of the formation, pre-snap, moving to the right. Got the linebacker to move there, and then the other tight end just sneaked underneath, and that is Oliver for the touchdown. Extra point is good, and it is 7-0 here with 10:43 in the first quarter. All right, so we're a little bit of a mini commercial here. So obviously the big story for the Rams is getting not only Cooper Kupp back, but Puka Nacua is active in this game. Now, how much are they going to play? How much are they, especially Puka, who is coming off a major injury or a pretty severe one? How much are they going to play him? Is he 100%? Who knows? But having those two guys back in your offense, I mean, they're your number 1 and number 2 options in the passing game at this point. And plus you have a very, very solid running back in Kyren Williams. Matthew Stafford still has a freaking arm. He can still very much sling it and put the ball anywhere he wants. So I'm gonna be very excited to see what they can do, because I think Sean McVay is gonna be, if he has Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp both near 100%, they're gonna be adding so many things, so many movements, things like that. It's gonna be very, very, very. I'm trying to avoid using the word interesting so much, but it's gonna be very telling how this Rams offense is going to be going forward, especially if all these guys can stay healthy. Obviously, their offensive line is still an issue, but if those guys, I think having Cooper Kupp and Puka is going to be a little bit easier. Stafford's going to be able to get that ball a lot quicker. Stafford in the pistol, three receivers to the right, Cooper in motion to the left here, and first ball is to Puka Nacua, and he cannot haul it in. Drops it. It'll be 2nd and 10 for the Rams here. And sorry, the receivers were on the left side, and Cooper was moving to his right. And Puka on the left side, just nice little out route, but could not haul it in. All right, empty set, ball at the 30. Cooper in motion to the right. And it's going to be a nice throw to Puka Nacua, who breaks not one but two tackles and gets some more tough yardage. That is a gain of about 14 yards by Puka Nacua. So immediately, not only was he there on the first snap, the first two offensive plays, they have thrown it to Puka, and he has made, and then there's a lot of contact there. He broke two tackles and was fighting through the third. So he seems like he is ready to go. And the fact that they're using a lot of Cooper, a lot in motion, means that he is pretty healthy too. It's going to be a handoff to the left, and Williams finding a huge hole, breaking a tackle, and getting about 13 yards on the run. Phenomenal, man. Hopefully these teams can keep it going, man. I want to see an offensive barrage. I think in this channel we have yet to really get a big, massive offensive game, just pure offense. 1st and 10, three receivers to the right, receiver in motion to the left. Stafford looking, throwing it down the middle here, and he finds Johnson, number 18, for a gain of about 6 or 7 there. All right. 2nd and 4. Rams taking a little bit of time to get to the line here. I always forget Stephon Gilmore is is on the Vikings. All right. Looks like the Rams are going to unfortunately use their first timeout of the half here. Having some issues getting to the line. But Minnesota's, man, their defense, 24 sacks, 11 interceptions. So dang good. All right. Stafford under center, single back in the backfield, tight end in motion to the left. Puka Nacua in motion to the left as well. Fakes the handoff. Throws it to Puka, who's got blockers down the field to the 30, 25, 20, and inside the 20-yard line down to about the 17. And man, dude, you can just feel the relief in this offense, man. Just like as soon as they got their guys back, man, they are gonna use them. There is no, oh hey, let's ease them in. No, we got Puka. Let's get it going. Let's run our actual offense. All right, Stafford under center, single back in the backfield. It's going to be a run. Kyron making the guy miss, and that is going to be a face mask on the Vikings there. It was initially a gain of about 3 or 4, but that's going to be on pace for the Vikings. Huge, huge face mask there. All right, 7:48 on the clock here. It'll be first and goal. Ball at the 7. Stafford in motion, single back in the backfield. Johnson in motion to the left. It's going to be a handoff right up the middle and going to be a gain of about 2.5 yards. Pace in on the tackle to bring down Williams. Stafford in the pistol, Williams in the backfield, Puka and Cooper stacked up on the right, Cooper in motion to the left. Stafford throws it to Cooper Kupp in the end zone, but it's going to be out the back of the end zone, incomplete. It'll be third and goal. Well, there's a lot of contact there. But that was the former defensive player of the year, Stephon Gilmore, on the coverage. So might be why there was no call there. Especially when you've been around the league and been successful, you typically can get away with a few things. Shotgun throw up the middle, and that is a touchdown for the Rams. That was a nice little route there by Williams, just cutting up into the underneath the coverage. Stafford looked, threw it right to him, right down the middle. Easy touchdown throw. Yeah, Williams was on the left side in the shotgun and then looped around the tackle, got it in between the linebackers, and was able to beat number 0 Pace. Just didn't go with him. Left him wide open, nobody in the center of the field, and that is an easy touchdown for the Rams. Extra point is good, and we have a tie game here with 6:38 left in the first quarter. Yeah, there was not a whole lot of resistance on either defense here. Both defenses kind of just letting it go. Great offensive plays. Great, what they basically probably most likely their first scripted, 10 to 12 plays there. So phenomenal job by both offenses, man. Run the ball, pass the ball, it didn't really matter, man. So we saw a lot of Puka, but outside of that one throw in the end zone for Cooper, didn't really look his way, and also there was a lot of motion uh with Cooper. He was Kupp. He was basically the only guy that was seemed to be moving across the formation there. Puka was basically just kind of staying in the spot, and it was all quick throws and a little bit underneath stuff there. So yeah, definitely not a whole lot of throws down the field on that first one. Unlike the Minnesota Vikings, who seem to be challenging and being aggressive, throwing it deep down the field, especially the Jefferson. And the kick is up, and it is going to go out the back of the end zone. Minnesota will start with the ball at the 30. Oh yeah, no, definitely. Um, I think if you looked at the records, you would think, oh yeah, Minnesota's going to be able to blow them out. But the Rams getting two big pieces of their offense back in Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp at the wide receiver position. Darnold under center, handoff to Jones in the backfield, and he is going to be stopped up with a no gain on the play. And to be, and like this Rams offense is completely different when you don't have a guy like the guys like Cooper and Puka Nacua. I mean, they're your number one and number two option, and it's not even probably neither of them is two technically. It's probably have 1A and 1B. It'll be 1st and 11 here. Shotgun, two backs in the backfield. Jefferson also in the backfield. Throws it over Jefferson, and it's going to be a nice gain for a first down gain of about 13, 14 yards there. And that was to Jordan Addison, the second-year wide receiver out of, I believe, USC. Just a great throw. Nice little deep out route by Addison on the right side there. Eli, yo, what's going on, dude? Good to see you. Good to see you. Who you going for, Eli? Who you going for? It's gonna be a run up the middle here. Jones with a big carry, getting him to the 50-yard line, gain of about 7 there. And the clock is at 4:59, 4:58, 4:57, 4:56, 4:55. If you want to sync this game up with us. And 2nd and 3 in the eye, looking down the field, finding Jefferson again for a big first down. And they are well in Rams territory here. Minnesota being very aggressive, man. They have feels like most of their throws have been 8 or more yards down the field. And obviously Jefferson, arguably the best receiver in the NFL. Looks like he's going to have a big night here, man. And under center, fakes the handoff. Darnold rolling to his right, and he's going to run and get about 5 yards, maybe 6, on the quarterback keeper there. And obviously Darnold, man, he's an athletic guy, man. He's not one of those guys that you think of, he's obviously not Lamar Jackson, not, anything like that, but he's a guy he reminds me of, especially when he runs and kind of his speed, he reminds me of Aaron Rodgers in his prime. Like 2010, it's going to be a quick play here, run up the middle by Jones, and he's going to break a tackle and get about 3 or 4 yards. He's going to be a yard shy of the first down. Minnesota getting to the line very quickly here. 1st and goal, and it's going to be a QB sneak, and that'll be a first down for the Minnesota Vikings. Ball is around the 20-yard line. Hope everybody's having a good night here. Shout out Dahlia. Thank you for joining us again. Appreciate you. Yeah, Jonesy has been phenomenal, man. Over 5.2 yards a carry. Handful of touchdowns. And under the center here, and it's going to be a quick throw to Jefferson running the out route. Gain of about 5 or 6. Clock under 2 minutes in this first quarter. This game is rolling by. Ball at the 15. Darnold in the pistol. It's going to be a handoff to Jonesy, who squeaks through. He might have actually gotten the first down, and he did. Gets the ball at the 10-yard line. Yeah, it's still wrong to see Jonesy in that purple, man. It hurts every time. All right, Jefferson at the bottom of the screen here. Darnold under center. He's going to fake the handoff, looking for his receiver, and then it's going to be a touchdown for the Minnesota Vikings on a very similar route to their first touchdown. Just a shallow cross, maybe a little bit of a sluggo route if you want to call it. Just running from the right to the left of the side of the field. Quick and easy, man. Minnesota, man, 2 touchdowns on their first 2 drives. And that was to Sheffield there, number 11. And the extra point is good. Yeah, man. Just getting away from the linebacker, getting away from his guy. Minnesota, man, looks like they are they took that loss to Detroit personally. They are starting out hot in this first quarter. And Brian Flores, man, the defensive coordinator for the Vikings, there's typically, especially the way he runs that defense, man, you're gonna have to change things up. Man, that first drive where the Rams were able to kind of use some of the short routes to Puka, almost like little bubble screens to him. I guarantee you're not gonna be able to do that again with ease. Oh yeah, no, I right there with you, man. Spent so long with the Packers, dude, such a great guy. Him going to the enemy here, man, it hurt. But I'm glad he's back healthy, and I'm glad he's having some success. I'm just hoping it's not enough for them to beat the Packers or make a deep run here in the playoffs. You know. All right, and we are back, and the kick is away. He'll be downed in the end zone. Rams will start with the ball at the 30. Yeah, and they've done. Unfortunately, this defense is. It seems like they need one more draft to be really kind of getting going because they have some talent, but they're also dealing with some injuries. And then when you lose a guy like Aaron Donald on the defensive line, like a guy that just. I mean, teams like all if they, anything they only scheme to stop him or to stop him. Otherwise, they allow other guys to make plays. But he's gone. He retired, and now there's a big gaping hole, man. Like Darnold was it's gonna be a throw over the middle of the Puka. That's gonna be a gain, a huge gain. Breaks the tackle, nearly 20 yards on the play. And but yeah, with Aaron Donald when he left, man, like the guy is gonna be he's gonna go down as arguably one of the greatest players, not just defensive players, not just defensive linemen, one of the greatest players and most dominant players to ever play in the NFL. First and 10, Stafford in the pistol, three receivers to his left. Quick throw, Cooper Kupp unable to hold on to it, try to one hand catch it there. And very interesting. Both Cooper and Nacua, their first passes they were able to get their hands on, dropping them. C Strom, what's going on? Howdy, brother. Howdy. How we doing? All right. First and 10 here. 10 seconds left in the first quarter. Stafford under center. And it's going to actually be another timeout for the Rams. That is their second in this first quarter. They are down to one for the rest of the half. So it seems like the offense kind of struggling to get things going here. Get things going. I guarantee you that playbook opened up as soon as Puka and Cooper came back. So I guarantee you there's a couple plays they probably haven't run in a couple weeks. Second and 10, ball at the 45. Shotgun, Cooper in motion to the right. Stafford looking, dumping it down to his running back Williams, who breaks a tackle, breaks another, and is going to be able to fight for about 4 yards on the play. Oh, dude, Texas A&M. Oh my God, dude, that's gonna be a great game. That's on. Is that in the at night or in the morning? I work in the morning, so hopefully it's a later game, man. Cause that's gonna be. I'm actually gonna watch that one, dude. Yeah, LSU, Texas A&M, man, that's gonna be a phenomenal game. I have to put a reminder for that game on Saturday. Oh heck yeah, dude! Oh, it's a night game. I'm definitely gonna be watching that one. Luckily, and then you're gonna be going to the game, dude. Enjoy, man. Heck yeah! Especially this season, man. It seems like football. Seems like college football has just been massive. So yeah, man. Enjoy that one, dude. You're gonna have to let me know how that game is, or at least the environment was, man. I bet it's gonna be rowdy. Yeah. Well, while we're on commercial, let's look at the look at the records here for LSU. And so Aggies 6-1, first in the SEC. Holy cow! Nice, man. So both teams 6-1, man. That's gonna be a huge game. Major implications on that one. No, man. Enjoy that game. That's gonna be a fun matchup, man. And so, who do you guys have for this game? Who are you rooting for? Who are you looking at? Obviously, we got the 2-5 Rams, who are finally getting a little bit healthy on offense. Might be looking good. So 3rd and 7. Stafford in the shotgun. Two receivers stacked up on the right. Puka moving to the right. Flores sending some pressure and tries to get it to Puka, and he gets blown up. That ball will be incomplete. But there is a flag on the field. And it's going to be on Minnesota. And that's going to be holding. So that is a first down for the LA Rams. Check it out here. Who was that? Really? I mean, yeah. I guess he has that jersey. So 1st and 10, ball at the 46. It's going to be a run to the left. Williams has space, has blockers, and he is going to be getting a huge gain there. That is a first down and then some. Woo. Let's see the blocking here. So he had Puka, he had the tight end. Tight end, nice seal. Puka moving down the field, getting some blockers. And Williams wasn't even touched until he was at the about the 33-yard line. So 1st and 10, ball at the 29. Single back in the backfield. Stafford under center. It's going to be a run up the middle and gain of about a yard on the play. Looks like there's a ram getting taped up here on the side. And that is Williams getting taped up. And Stafford in the pistol. Two receivers to his left. Cooper in motion. Quick throw to Puka Nacua, who gets away from the first defender. And he's going to be out around the 15-yard line. That is a first down for the Rams. And Blake Corum is the running back in for Kyron Williams there. Yeah, Puka, man, just a quick slant. Able to get away, get some separation from Stephon Gilmore. 64 yards on 4 catches for Puka Nacua. He's in motion. It's going to be a nice little end around in between the tackle. And it's going to be a gain of about 6 or 7 yards for Puka Nacua on the carry. I like the way that the Rams are going, man. They, like I said, Puka and Cooper are going to be an extension of that running game. It's only going to make it a little bit better. It's going to be harder to key in on a guy like Kyron Williams. 2nd and 3, ball at the 7-yard line. It's going to be a run up the middle, and Williams only able to get maybe half a yard, maybe a yard on the play. Yeah, it looks like it's the right ankle of Williams that was wrapped up, taped up. All right, 3rd and 2, Stafford in the shotgun. Puka at the bottom of the screen. Tight end in motion to the right. And that's going to be a false start on the Rams. It looks like the tackle moved. So move him back 5 yards, and it'll be a little bit tougher there. Yeah, got caught by his own. And Stafford not happy with his center there. Looks like the ball was supposed to be snapped. So 3rd and 7, ball at the 11-yard line. 3 receivers to the right. Pressure, and it's going to be incomplete, but looks like it's going to be pass interference on Minnesota there. That's going to be on Stephon Gilmore. And that'll be an automatic first down. Kind of want to see this. There wasn't a whole lot of contact from what I saw. Oh, okay, yeah, no. Yeah, definitely a lot more. Definitely a lot more contact from that angle. All right, 1st and goal, ball at the 6-yard line. Single back in the backfield. Stafford under center, tight end in motion to the left. And it's going to be a quick handoff, and it's going to be for maybe a loss of 1 on the play. And that was the pass interference call, man, which is unfortunate because even if I think it was to Cooper Kupp, even if he would have caught it, he would have been about almost like 4 yards, maybe 3 yards short of the first down. Flores did a great job sending a blitz there. Stafford had to get that ball up very quickly. Second and goal, ball at the 7. Shotgun. Stafford looking to his left, rolling to his left, breaks a tackle, and finds Cooper Kupp in the back of the end zone for a touchdown. Stafford able to get away from not one, but two defenders to avoid getting sacked. Holy cow. Dude, I thought he was down. And that is a huge, huge touchdown. Cooper starting on the left side of the formation from the snap. Stafford able to duck under the, looks like the defensive tackle Phillips. And then finds Cooper just right in between two defenders in the back of the end zone on the left side. So extra point is up, and it is good. And we have a tie ball game with 10:05 in the second quarter, all tied up at 14. Heck yeah, man. I love it. There we go. Not 11, 14. They had to get a little bit of help from some flags here, man, but the Rams able to get another touchdown, responding to the two touchdowns for Minnesota here. And the big thing with, especially with that offense, man, the Rams offense, we have yet to be able to see Minnesota being able to get their hands on the ball. Stafford has been very, very smart. He's not forcing anything. A lot of these throws are very quick and out. It seems like Puka and especially Puka, he's been basically their biggest weapon right now in their offensive pass game. I think he has 4 catches for 64 yards, and I think he obviously ran that little end around to the left side for a gain of about 7. So he's been huge so far in this first half, and you can clearly tell how different this offense is when that guy is healthy, specifically him. Cooper, obviously, he's had a massive career with the Rams, but over the last 2 seasons, mostly because of injuries to Cooper, Puka has had to really come in, and he's been just massive for them, man. So explosive, able to find ways to always be able to be just creating separation has been something Puka Nacua has done so well in his first 2 years. And then once he has the ball in his hands, he makes people miss, man. He is so sudden and powerful in the way that he runs. He is not an easy guy to get down. He's not a huge guy, but man, he runs with so much intensity. And when you have a guy that's injured and he's not able to play like that on the sidelines, not able to be on the field, you can just tell that this Rams offense needed a spark. There was always they're always so close to getting that pass, getting things like that. And you could tell Stafford was trying to force things because he needed that big play. Now he doesn't really need to force that. He doesn't need to throw it into some tight coverages. He could just, Puka was able to make a move and has about 3 yards, 2 yards of separation. Bam, put it on him and let him do the rest. All right, 1st and 10. Darnold in. I was like, there's about 3 different guys that moved before the ball was snapped. So yeah, so it's gonna be a false start on the Minnesota Vikings. There, it looks like it was gonna be a fake handoff, and Darnold was gonna roll to his left there. First and 15, ball at the 25. Quick throw, and no one's there. Looks like his receiver slipped and fell on the play. But there's a flag on the field. And it's going to be another flag on Minnesota. That is an illegal formation. So move them back again, boys. All right. So now it'll be first and 20 there. And oh, never mind. The Rams declined the penalty, so that'll be second and 15. So, because it was an incomplete pass anyway. So, Darnold in the shotgun. Jefferson in motion to the left. Fakes the handoff, gets the ball out to Jefferson. He's going to be one-on-one, and he's going to get to the 31-yard line. Gain of 6, so it'll be 3rd and 9 for Minnesota here. All right, Darnold in the shotgun. Jefferson in the slot to the right. And looking pressure, and he is going to have to throw that ball into the field, and that'll be incomplete. And it is the Minnesota Vikings who are going to punt the ball for the first time in this game. Great pressure, and that is Verse there, being able to get some pressure on Sam Darnold, forcing him to throw that ball to the turf. Oh, heck yeah, man. Welcome back. Oh, yeah, man. It's been touchdown, and this is the first punt for both teams, or I should say for either team. And it's going to be caught. He's going to be returning it inside the 10, and he's only going to get to about the 12-yard line. That is a heck of a punt there by Wright. All right, with 9:06 left in the half, we are still tied at 14-14 with the Rams getting an opportunity here to take their first lead of this game. Their defense coming up big on that drive. Obviously, some penalties for Minnesota. At least one of them was accepted. Kind of put them in a tough spot early on. But I guarantee you, Flores is going to be aggressive on this next one. He's going to want to keep this momentum with Minnesota. So I'm expecting some early down pressure. Trying to see, because they almost got to Stafford on that last one that he was able to get away from one guy, duck underneath another tackle, and then find Cooper in the back of the end zone. But Stafford is no longer a mobile quarterback that he was in his earlier days. Can he still kind of get going? Yeah, we saw it there a little bit, but he's definitely one of those guys that, if he doesn't have a wide open alley, then he's gonna either just keep looking or he's just gonna go down the ground. So I expect Flores to pressure him early at some point during this drive, especially if they're getting closer to midfield or even past that. I expect a nice little blitz either on first or second down. And Seastrom, you doing any more D&D this week, man? I know that first night, man, it went well, so I'm still happy about that, man. Keep it going, man. Keep it going. Oh, dude, they're showing food. Oh, come on, man. Don't do that to me. Oh, dude, now I want some steak. First and 10, ball to 12, single back in the backfield. Johnson in motion to the left. It's going to be a handoff to Kyron Williams on the right side, and that is going to be incomplete. Sorry, that is not Kyron Williams. That is Blake Corum, the Michigan Wolverine. Blake obviously winning a national title in Michigan with Jim Hardball there. What's going on, Landon? It's good to see you, buddy. Hope you're having a good night. All right, second and 9. Puka in motion to the left, shotgun Stafford, and the play is going to be blown dead here. That's going to be a false start on the Rams, so move him back. And that's going to be on the rookie offensive lineman, Loomer. Sorry, Limmer, not Loomer. Second and 14, tight end in motion. Quick throw to Cooper Kupp, and he's going to be able to get back to the original line of scrimmage there. So gain of about 5. All right, it's going to be a third and 10 here. Stafford looking, pressure, and he's gonna get throw. He's gonna have to throw that ball away. Otherwise, he was about to get sacked in the end zone for a safety. But there is a flag though. Oh wow! And it's gonna be a penalty on the Minnesota Vikings. That is illegal hands to the face, and that is an automatic first down. Oh no! Let's see how bad that was. No, that's not a hand. That's not hands to the face. Oh no, yeah, I see it. Never mind. Yeah, I see it. Dang, dude, that is a tough one right there from Minnesota. They had to stop deep in territory. All right, first and 10, ball at the 17-yard line, hand up the middle, and that is going to be Blake Corum there for a nice gain of about 6 or 7. Clock is at 7:13, 7:12, 7:11, 7:10, 7:09, 7:08, 7:07 if you want to sync this game up with us. All right, Stafford under center, single back in the backfield. Receiver in motion to the left, and it's going to be another penalty, and it looks like it's going to be the Rams moving back again. And that's going to be on the veteran right tackle, Havenstein. So second and 10 here. Stafford in the pistol. Receiver in motion. It's going to be a handoff up the middle. And this is going to be Kyron Williams, who's going to be able to pick his way for a huge 8-yard gain. But there is a flag that came out late here. Might be holding. I was literally gonna say in the first quarter, I was like, oh yeah, these referees only a handful of flags, nothing too crazy, or less than a handful. Now they're yeah, now they're getting a little ridiculous here. So they're gonna get it on the rookie again, Limmer, with a hold, and that's the center here. So 2nd and 16, the ball is back at the 11 here. It's going to be a screen to Williams, who's going to be unable to get away from Van Ginkel, the former Wisconsin Badger. He's going to get tackled in the backfield for a loss of about 2 or 3. And if you're new to the channel, anytime a Wisconsin Badger is making a big play, I will first say that he is a Wisconsin Badger before I say anything else. So always a shout out to Madison here. It's going to be a run up the middle here. He's got a lot of space, and he's going to get out across the 21 down to about the 22. But unfortunately, still going to be very well short of that first down. And now we got back-to-back punts here. After both of these teams were able to get 2 touchdowns on their first 2 drives, now it's back-to-back punts. This one going to be deep, fairly deep in Rams territory. It's going to have to be a very good punt if they want to flip this field. And it's going to be an okay punt. It's going to be returned, and he's going to get out across the 40 down to about the 42. So pretty decent return there, gain of maybe about 4 or 5. And I was liking what we were seeing from the offenses here, but just both of those drives I feel had less to do with what the defenses were doing or even what the offenses were unable to do. It was just both had so many penalties. That first drive for Minnesota that ended in a punt, a couple penalties there, and then this one there was like I lost count, maybe like 5 or 6 accepted penalties on that one. And don't get me wrong, I get it, especially with the false start stuff. I mean, when a guy moves, but you gotta let these guys play a little bit, man. Jesus. Because like now the rhythm of the game is just kind of it's stagnated now. Seriously, on that drive, I'm pretty sure I saw the head referee more than I saw basically an actual play happen. All right, we're still watching Matthew Stafford here, but it's just for a sleep number bed this time. Dude, I can't can't believe Sam Darnold is not even. I think he just turned 28 recently. Guy's been in the league for almost a decade. And Darnold going down in the backfield. And that is, I believe, Verse able to almost get to him on that last drive from Minnesota. This time he is able to get to Sam Darnold in the backfield for the first sack of the game. Yeah, man, this rookie looks phenomenal, man. Yeah, Verse has definitely been one of their standouts here. Darnold, and he's gonna just dirt the ball on the ground here, but it's gonna be a false start for Minnesota here. Actually, you can tell Kevin O'Connell is they're testing his patience right now. They were showing him on the sidelines calling a play. You could tell his jaw was just clenched out of frustration. Yeah, both of these teams played a game on Sunday, so not a whole lot of rest, not a whole lot of even practice. I think most teams don't even practice during a short week. It's mostly just mental reps. More pressure. Darnold needing to roll out to his right. He's going to throw it deep down the field, and it's going to go out of bounds. And it'll be 3rd and 25 for the Minnesota Vikings here. There's a lot of pressure here. Nice little stunt there. Yeah, the defensive end started out on the left side of the offensive formation, pretended like he was going to go right to the tackle, and then was able to just loop around to the defensive tackle that was taking up basically 2 blocks. So 3rd and 25, ball at the 27. Darnold looking, throwing to the right, finds an open man. That is KJ Hamler, I believe, but it's only going to get to about the 36. So another punt coming here. And the punter for Minnesota, right, he had a phenomenal punt in the first one. Has another good one here, and that'll be at about the 11-yard line. All right, we got 2:50 left in this half. Rams potentially with if they can get a drive going here, man, they're going to be in good position because they get the ball to start the second half. So even a field goal, just get a deep drive going, kill some clock. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 11. Single back in the backfield, a run. Williams is going to gain about 4 on the play. So Puka Nacua, 4 catches, 64 yards, and Williams, 9 carries for 56 rushing yards. So pretty solid night offensively. Obviously, they would want a few more explosive plays here to get going. But I think, especially for the way they've played offensively over the last couple of weeks, I think this is a breath of fresh air for the Rams. Puka in motion. Stafford in the pistol. Has to get the ball out quickly. The pressure. And it's going to be a first down for the Rams. Getting it to Parkinson, the tight end there. And that's going to take us to the 2-minute warning here in Los Angeles. With the score tied up here. And oh my God, I completely forgot to change the quarter. My God. All right, come on, guys. I didn't get to practice in either. All right, it's the same thing as these teams. They don't get on the practice field. It's just all mental reps. I'm a little rough too. There's probably see if I had a ref here, he would have thrown the flag. I would have known. All right, I'm locked in, man. I'm locked in. Let's go. The one thing I've noticed, man, that we have not seen a whole lot of Aaron Jones outside of those first two drives. There's been almost no run game to speak of for the Vikings on their two drives that ended in punts here. I think they got to get back to that, man. Like, Jones was doing a phenomenal job. He wasn't, busting off, 20, 30-yard runs, but he was getting you in very solid position on second and third down. And you can tell the Rams are trying to keep Kyron Williams to a minimum here. I think his ankle, the right ankle, is really bothering him a lot. They've been trying to use Blake Corum, but he's just been unable to really find a whole lot of space to be able to break off any decent runs. I think his longest carry is maybe 6 yards. Otherwise, it's kind of 1 yard here, 2 yards there. So. All right. 1st and 10, ball at the 23, shotgun. Tight end in motion. It's going to be another handoff up the middle. Williams able to break off, gets to about the 35, and then it's going to be a gain of about 12 on the play. All right, Stafford in motion. 2 receivers to the left. Puka at the top of the screen. Stafford needing to roll out. He's going to pitch it to Williams, who's going to get out across the 40 down to about the 41. Gets out of bounds, stops the clock at 1:30. And remember, the Rams used 2 of their timeouts in the first quarter. They were having some issues getting the right play, or at least getting everybody on the right page. So they only have 1 timeout to use here. 2nd and 4, ball at the 41. Tight end in motion. It's going to be a run up the middle here. Williams keeping those legs churning. He's going to get a 1st down. And depending on when they blew the whistle here, it's going to be a gain of about 6 on the play. Yeah, and dude, Kyrie Williams, that's another guy, man, just so dang good, man. Like I said, man, the Rams have done a great job over the last couple of years drafting. Ever since they got those picks back, they stopped trading them away. Takes the snap. Stafford, quick throw to Cooper Kupp. He's going to get to the 50. And it's going to be a flag on the field here, though. Right now, the clock is stopped at 53 seconds. And they're going to pick up the flag here. Initially, it was for roughing the passer. but they're saying pace he was blocked into the quarterback. So 2nd and 6, ball at the 50. Going to be a throw to Cooper, and it's going to be knocked away by Stephon Gilmore. Clock is at 47 seconds here. Let's see what Brian Flores has under his sleeve here. So 4 down linemen. A lot of guys in the middle of the field. Cooper in motion to the right. Stafford looking, dumping it down, and it's going to be batted at the line. And that is the former Houston Texan, Grenard, getting up there, batting that ball down. And Grenard wasn't even rushing. he was keeping his eyes on exactly where Stafford was going to throw. Yeah, wasn't even trying to get to him. He was just trying to take up the passing lanes there. So Rams are going to punt this away. It's going to go over the head, and it's going to be downed at about the 6-yard line, maybe the 5. There is a flag on the field because, of course, there is. These referees are, I mean, we got to be very, very close to, 15 penalties in this half? And it's going to be holding by Minnesota, so they're going to move that ball back even more. It was already like around the 6-yard line. All right, with 35 seconds here, I'm expecting just a few runs just to make sure that they're out of the they don't get tackled in the end zone here, or they don't knee it into the end zone. All right. It's going to be 1st and 10. The ball is literally at the 2-yard line. Hand off to Jones, and he's going to gain about 2.5 yards, almost to the 5. Minnesota does have all 3 timeouts. And they are going to use one, not necessarily to stop the clock, but we have a Minnesota offensive lineman down on the ground. And that is Darrisaw, number 71. And Darrisaw, he's been phenomenal for the... Yeah, he got... basically, he had a guy just fall right into his knee. The guy was making a tackle, and when he did, he kind of... The defender basically, his lower body swung into the left knee of Darrisaw when he was engaged in a block from right behind him. Yeah, man. Hopefully he's all right, man. I've seen you see a lot of those. You see broken legs and torn ligaments because of the. Ah, man, that sucks, dude. Yeah, like I was saying before, Darrisaw, he's been phenomenal for them for the last few seasons, man. By far one of their best offensive linemen. He plays left tackle, so that's a huge position that they are most likely gonna need to maybe fill here for. And if not for this game, might be a little bit longer depending on how severe this injury is. So I think after this here, I think Minnesota is just going to go into the locker room, probably take a knee. They have enough space for it now for sure. And I don't think they're going to really risk any more injuries with just about maybe 27 seconds left. So, but yeah, man, what initially looked like it was going to be a massive offensive barrage, first literally the first four drives, the first two drives of each team culminating in a touchdown. Since then, nothing. And it's not looking good here. Darasol literally unable to put almost any kind of pressure on that foot. He obviously has two guys helping him there, and he is walking very, very gingerly into the tunnel here. So hopefully the big man can get healthy at some point here, man. I doubt he's going to be coming back into this game. So Minnesota's going to take a knee, and we're now officially at halftime. So while we got a little bit of time, we are basically closing in on the halfway point of the season. So technically, the season now has 17 games. So week 8 is no longer the midpoint, but we're about there. So let's look around the league at where these teams stand, at least in terms of record wise, and maybe let's talk about who is going to looking like they're going to be in the playoffs, who is definitely going to be out and playing for 2025, and who is kind of lingering in that limbo of potentially good enough or potentially just they're probably by the end of November they might not be playing meaningful football. So let's start with the AFC here. So the leaders right now are the Bills in the AFC East. We have the Chiefs undefeated in the AFC West. We have the Baltimore Ravens tied at the top of the AFC North, and the Houston Texans leading the way in the AFC South. So right off the bat, I think we can easily say the Chiefs are most likely going to be making the playoffs. Whether they go there undefeated or not, most likely they will be winning that division unless there is a massive, massive drop off with, maybe they keep on throwing the ball too much to DeAndre Hopkins and they just are unable to do anything else. Doubtful, but let's count them in the playoffs. Baltimore 5-2. They are probably the best looking 5-2 team in the NFL. I think right now, if it was the Chiefs against the Ravens again instead of Week 1, I think the Ravens would beat them here. I've been really impressed with the way that their defense is playing. It's not perfect, but they're able to create some takeaways. And their offense right now, especially now that they got Derrick Henry, up and running. I think Week 1 was a weird time. That was really the only really bad game for Derrick. Otherwise, he has just been dominant through almost every single game since then. So I think that's a big reason why I would think that the Ravens would probably be able to beat the Chiefs right now. And then Houston, they're in the division where it's basically just a two horse race. It's them or the Colts. We'll talk about the other two teams later on, but I think the Texans, whether they win the division or not, I think they're going to be a team. There's 7 slots for the playoffs. They're going to be one of those for sure. So moving back up to the AFC East, we talked about the Bills. Got Amari Cooper added some firepower to that offense. We'll see how you know how that continues to grow or potentially get even better, more consistent. They're still not a complete team. I still think that defense is lacking just I don't want to say leadership because I feel like that's a very intangible thing to find, but they're just missing those go to playmakers. And granted, some guys could develop. We're once again there's nine more weeks to go, but I think right now they're lacking that a lot of unknowns on that defense. But I think their defense is going to be hopefully good enough for them to kind of be in games, keep it close, and allow that offense to potentially reach some type of potential. It may not be the offense that we've seen the last couple seasons, but I think with the way Josh Allen is playing, hopefully the running game can continue to get better and be effective, and maybe the wide receivers will eventually gel with their Pro Bowl quarterback. Going down the list here, Dolphins. It's going to be 100% dependent on Tua. If Tua can come back and play close to what he was before the concussion this season, then they'll probably bounce back. I mean, it's going to be tough. 2-4. If it takes a week to kind of get going, maybe it's kind of like the Jordan Love thing. After he came back, it took him a full week to really get going, or maybe almost a half actually. But they still lose and drop to 2-5. Could be very tough to kind of say that they're going to be in the playoffs, but I think if this offense can play to its potential, which is potentially putting up 30, 40 points in some games, I think the Dolphins they'll be playing some meaningful football in December, I feel like. And then the Jets, I think we talked about the Jets at nauseum almost the past week. But I mean, they're 2-5. They need a win here against. I think they're going up against the Patriots. They need to get a win because if they don't, 2-6, they're definitely not going to be making the playoffs. This team needs to basically win either 9, anywhere between 10 of 10. No, maybe not 10 of their next 10 games. Probably 9 out of their next 10, or at the very minimum, need to win 8 of their next 10. And I don't know, man. I have not seen anything to suggest that this team is going to be able to go 8-2 or 9-1 the rest of the way. I just think there's too many of these things stacked up against them. I think their offense is not as good as we thought they were going to possibly be. I think Aaron Rodgers, I don't think he's necessarily as bad as his stats and even the record suggests, but I also don't think he's, it's not like this is, trying to think of a situation. I don't think this is a 2018 situation where Rodgers is just unable to make up for a terrible defense, lack of production from the running game. Maybe his receivers are not healthy, or maybe there's not enough depth. Like it was in Green Bay during those seasons, those last couple seasons with McCarthy. I don't think we're dealing with that. I mean, you have Garrett Wilson, one of the best young receivers in the NFL. You have Alan Lazard, who I've said it before. I think he's a solid number 3, maybe a low number 2, but again, he's a guy that has very good chemistry with Rodgers. And now they brought in Devontae. Obviously, it's going to take more than just one game to see what Devontae can do in that offense. But their running game is solid. Breece Hall almost had 100 receiving yards. He didn't have a whole lot of rushing yards, but still, explosive plays and yardage still counts for something. And then that defense is one of the better ones. They've had a little bit of a downturn in their last 2 games since Robert Saleh got fired. We'll see if that continues. But this team is better than some of the teams that Rodgers at times had in Green Bay, but yet he's been unable to really make up for it. And I think that is one of the bigger things. I don't think he's a terrible quarterback. I don't think he's lost it all. But I do believe that he is no longer going to be able to carry the entire team for the rest of or the whole season. So once again, I talked about the Jets far too much than what I wanted to, but Do I think they're going to make the playoffs? I do not think so. I don't think this team is capable of going 8-2 at minimum. So Patriots, I think they knew coming into this season it was not going to be we're going to make the playoffs with our rookie quarterback. So I think the Patriots were always planning for 2025 to be the year that they could maybe compete for the playoffs. So I'm not going to go too much into that. It's a young team. Oh, that whole culture is going to be completely different. Bill Belichick is gone. Tom Brady, obviously, he's been gone for a while, but still, any remnants of that former dynasty is basically gone. It's at this point, it's just uh, reputation, and there's a completely different team. Even with the former players that they've had coming through, it's a different team. Patriots not going to compete for a playoff spot this year. We talked about the Chiefs, playing below their standards, but still finding a way to win every single time. We saw it last year for a little bit there. They didn't have the regular season that you would have thought for them, but when they turn it on, they turn it on. Whether it's late in the fourth quarter or late in the season, I guarantee you there's going to be a similar thing. They'll be there. They'll be there in January. So we'll see how it goes there. Denver is a team that their defense is obviously their strong point right now with Vance Joseph. They're obviously dealing with a few injuries here and there, but for the most part, I think that team is going to be relying mostly on their defense the rest of the way. Their offense is very Jekyll and Hyde. I'm not sure what to expect from week to week. There are times where they look like they're like, oh yeah, this team looks like they can put up 30 points. But then there are times where like, yeah, they're going to be lucky if they can get 2 touchdowns in this game. So I think Denver is going to be definitely competing in December. And I think they have an opportunity for the 7th or the 6th seed. But I don't think they're definitely not going to win their division, and I don't think they're going to get a home game in the playoffs if they make it. So Chargers. Oh man, Chargers. I think we all knew it was going to take more than one season with Jim Harbaugh, even as good of a reputation he has, not only as a coach in college, but also in the NFL. He had a phenomenal first year with San Francisco. Was able to really change that team, and for 3 or 4 years, they were one of the best teams in the NFL. But the thing that's been surprising is how the Chargers have, despite still having one of the best young quarterbacks in the NFL and having some decent talent on offense, just how they always seem to find a way to lose terribly. Like they gut-wrenching losses. And I know that's a Charger thing that's been going on for 20 years at this point, if not more. But it's still very surprising that there are times where they just play so awful against below average teams. So Chargers are one of those teams where I have no idea. They could go on a run. It wouldn't surprise me if they were the 3rd or 4th seed in the sorry, not the 4th seed, but the 5th seed. It would not be surprising at all. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know where to begin with the Chargers. I have that team is going to be very interesting. How it can go. It can either fall apart at the end, or it can go dramatically phenomenal. So, and then the Raiders. I think the Raiders are done this year. They're trading about any player that doesn't want to be there. They might trade away Max Crosby. Who knows? If they do that, then they're definitely not going to be competing for anything. So it's gonna be a weird season for the Raiders. It's gonna be interesting if they keep Antonio after this season, because this team has looked bad, and there wasn't a whole lot of talent to begin with. So that's not on Antonio for the most part, in my opinion. Like this is his first time entering the season as a head coach. So I think if you really want to be, if the Raiders do believe that he could be their guy, they need to give him more than just one season. They need to give him more than just one draft. But it's been been weird with him because he's been very vocal with the media in criticizing his team, which typically doesn't always end well for the head coach. So we'll see how that goes. All right, we are actually back here, so the kickoff will go into the end zone here, and it's going to be a touchback for the Rams. All right, so in between the commercials here, we'll finish up the AFC and talking about the rest here. All right, Stafford in the pistol. Three receivers to the right. Kupp in motion to the left. Quick throw, and it's going to be a nice little out route by Puka Nacua, gain of about 3, maybe 4. Oh. 3, let's change that. Got the timeouts back. And Stafford looking, throwing to the right, deep down the field, and then it's going to be unable to be caught by Puka Nacua. Almost made an incredible adjustment to that ball. Literally nearly leapfrogging over Stephon Gilmore to be able to get back to that ball that was slightly underthrown. Oh, and it wouldn't have mattered anyway. There's a late flag, and it's going to be on the Rams. And they're going to call holding. Dang, that boy is hairy as heck. Sorry. One of the Rams offensive linemen looking like the werewolf man. All right. 2nd and 16 after the penalty, ball at the 28-yard line. It's going to be a run up the middle by Williams. Going to be able to find a crease, and he's going to get a decent gain there, maybe 5 to 6 yards there. So it'll be 3rd and 9 for the Rams here. Stafford in the shotgun. Puka alone on the right side of the formation. Tight end in motion to the left. He's got time. He's going to find Puka down the field, and it's going to be very close. I know he got 1 foot down. Did he get the other? And then the official call on the field right now is a catch. It's going to be nearly to the 50-yard line or around there. And yeah, he was able to get both feet in bounds, tapping that left foot just before he got pushed out by Stephon. Heck of a catch. Puka, 6 for 87. Stafford under center, ball at the 50. It's going to be a handoff up the middle. Kyren picking his way through. Going to be down around the 45 of Minnesota. All right. 2nd and 6, tight end in motion to the left. Puka on the right side alone. Single back in the backfield. Puka in motion now to the left. Fakes the handoff. Stafford throwing deep down the sideline to the left, and it's going to be incomplete. Nearly picked off. Harrison Smith had an opportunity to just pick that one off, but Puka playing a little bit of defense there, kind of falling on Harrison's feet there. Yeah, Harrison talking to the ref. He's like, dude, that's offensive PI, man. He tackled me, basically. So it'll be 3rd and 6 here for the Rams. Ball at the 46. Cooper in motion to the left. Stafford in the shotgun. Quick throw. And it's going to be intercepted, overthrown. And that is the first turnover of this game. And that is Matthew Stafford. Kind of see here. I mean, the ball was overthrown by about 3 or 4 yards. His receiver ran a nice little out route. It was going to be enough for the first down and a lot more. I think Stafford expected him to run that ball or run that route just a few yards deeper, kind of get into the chest of the defender and then kind of go out. All right, while we're on a commercial break here, let's finish up talking about, or at least finish up a little bit more of the AFC here. So Baltimore, we kind of talked about it before. Derrick Henry looks amazing. Lamar looking like he's going to win his 3rd MVP. That defense, not perfect, but creating some turnovers, getting some pressure, and just doing a solid job being able to get off the field and give Baltimore's offense an opportunity to just continue to do what they've done since week 2, and that is just put up yards and points by bunches. So, again, I expect Baltimore to not only do I think they're going to win the division, even though it's a pretty tight race right now with the Steelers, but I think they have a really decent chance to maybe get the 1 seed for sure. I think they're going to be in a shoe-in for the 2nd seed as long as everybody stays healthy for the most part. Obviously, they already have two more losses than the Chiefs, but on top of that, the Chiefs are the ones that gave them the first loss, so there's a little bit of a 2.5 in that one. So getting the 1st seed might be a little bit of a struggle, but we'll see. Baltimore will be there. Pittsburgh, if who knows what Russell Wilson's going to be. He looked phenomenal in his first game. I don't think I've ever seen him play that well when he was with the Denver Broncos. And he had a couple of decent games with Denver. Obviously, there's a bunch of memes and a whole bunch of things. But, dude, he was attacking that freaking in that game, man. He was throwing it up. And granted, some of those were, if George Pickens doesn't do a phenomenal job to adjust to the ball and attack it, some of those could have been picks, but we'll see. All right, we're back here. Sam Darnold in the pistol here. Jones and a fullback in the backfield. It's going to be a handoff up the middle. Jones able to get about 4 yards on the play. So Darrisaw has officially been ruled out, and he's actually not even on the sidelines yet. So ball at the 31, 2nd down, free rusher, and they're going to get it out to Jones on the screen. He's going to get a 1st down, ball at the 40, and he's going to be tripped up just before the 45 down to the 44. Yeah, the Rams dialed up a corner blitz there, but Darnold able to get the ball out to Jones on the screen. First and 10, ball at the 43 officially. It's going to be a handoff up the middle. And Jones is going to get to the 45, a gain of 2. And that was something that the Vikings did not do on their final um, 2 drives, basically. After the first couple touchdowns, they stopped really running the ball, specifically with Jones. And I know he's kind of coming back from that hip injury, so they're probably trying to keep his touches a little bit on under 20 as they can help it. But man, he's such an explosive player. He's such an engine for what they do, especially when they can't get the passing game going with Jefferson. It's gonna be a quick throw to the left here, and Addison gonna continue to fight to get that first down. He's gonna be very, very close there. And that is a first down for the Minnesota Vikings. Yeah, Jordan, he was initially about half a yard shy, but just kept on fighting, even though there's like 2 guys on him. Heck of a job for the young man out of USC. All right, ball at the 47-yard line of Los Angeles. It's going to be a run to the right, and Jones unable to get more than about 2 yards. And the clock is at 9:10, 9:09, 9:08, 9:07, 9:06, 9:05, 9:04, 9:03, 9:02. If you want to sync this game up with us. All right. Shotgun. 2 running backs stacked up on the left side. Darnold looking pressure. He has to get the ball out quickly. He does. Gets it to Jefferson, who is going to be down at the 32. That is a first down for the Vikings. Yeah, Darnold just doing a great job staying in the pocket, moving a little bit to his right to get away from the pass rush, and then just delivering a nice throw to Jefferson, who was running a nice little deep in route. All right, shotgun. Quick throw to the left, and that's going to be the Jefferson who is going to be able to haul it in. He bobbled it for about 7 yards there, but he was like he might have caught it, had possession. It's going to be inside the 5. It'll be first and goal, handoff to Jones, and it's going to be to the left, and he's going to be taken down for a big loss there. Might have lost 4 or 5 yards there. Yeah, that ball nearly got away from Jefferson there. Yeah, it looks like they're just kind of going back to that weird catch there by Jefferson, but he had possession and both feet. It's gonna be another handoff up the middle this time. Jones able to get to the 5. So it'll be third and goal from Minnesota here. So when they've gotten this close, their first 2 touchdowns, they've gone basically run little short, shallow crossing routes or even sluggo routes, basically from the right to the left. See if they do that again or if they switch it up. Jefferson in the slot to the right. Darnold in the shotgun, looking, throwing, and he's going to get hit as he throws. And that pass is going to go out the back of the end zone, trying to get it to Jefferson in double coverage. And Minnesota's going to have to settle for a field goal attempt. Yeah, Jefferson just slipped and fell, or just tripped and fell, trying to make a move. All right, we got snap, ball, kick is up and right down the middle, and Minnesota retakes the lead here, 17-14, with 6:22 left in the third quarter. All right, let's keep it going here. So we talked about the Ravens, we talked about the Steelers a little bit here. I think that defense is obviously not to the standard that we've gotten accustomed to the Steelers, but when you have a guy like Highsmith, when you have, TJ Watt, your defense, at least your pass rush is gonna always be able to limit something. You're gonna get your sacks, you're gonna get your turnovers, your fumbles, things like that. And it's gonna be up to the secondary to be able to hold up a little bit if they can get better. And they do have some talent there, man. They have God, I'm trying to think of his name. His dad used to play for them as well, but it's completely escaping me. But he made some great plays against the Jets there, and if he can continue to do that, I think that defense is going to be pretty solid. They got some scrappy dudes, especially at linebacker. That rookie Bishop, who had 2 interceptions off of Aaron Rodgers. Again, that's one game does not make a Pro Bowler, but if that kid can continue to be in position to at least make plays, I think they're going to be in pretty decent situation. I think their linebackers were really solid in that game as well. I think they really were great in coverage, and I think they were even better, honestly, in stopping the run. So I think that's their defense. Their offense, it's going to be completely up to Russ, man. If he can play closer to what he did, not only in that game against the Jets, but if he can play to what he used to look like with Seattle, then I think they're going to be just fine. I think they might have found their QB for the next couple seasons. I think he's working out. Basically, I think he's on a 1-year contract, so they'll have to re-sign him, but they're going to let him play out a little bit more before they really commit to anything. But they got some decent wide receivers. Their running backs are solid, I think. Najee Harris is very shifty guy. He's not really in between the tackles, very rough kind of tack. But that's more like was it Jalen Warren? That's more of the your no, not necessarily a bell cow, but more of your in between the tackles, fighting for that extra yardage. That's kind of your guy. So I like that they're versatile, at least in the running back position. So I think the Steelers are going to make the playoffs this year. I think being 5-2, they're in really good position, and Tomlin always seems to be able to get the most, or at the very least, almost the most out of his teams. Sometimes you know, they barely make the playoffs, but barely making the playoffs is making the playoffs. The Bengals, they're 3-4, but they started out 0-3. They've gone 3-1 since then. Granted, the wins have not been against great competition. I think they have wins against Cleveland, Carolina, and was it the Raiders maybe? Oh, no, it was a team that barely has any victories. So their wins have not been impressive, and I'll talk about that in a little bit here. We're back. It's going to be a handoff up the middle. Williams is going to be just stuffed after a gain of about 1 on the play. All right. Stafford in the shotgun. Ball at the 32, 2nd and 8. Puka Nacua in motion to the right. Stafford looking down the field. He's going to try to dump it, and he's going to get it in behind the coverage there to his tight end, Parkinson, who's going to be very close to a first down. Yeah, he was able to get the linebacker trying to crash down on the check down, and that left a little bit of a open gap for the tight end to just kind of walk right into. That's going to be a first down ball at the 41. Fakes the handoff. It's going to be to Kyron Williams, who is unable to hold on to it. It's going to go out of bounds, but it wasn't an incomplete pass anyway. So, yeah, Stafford had to kind of put that ball a little higher than he wanted to. The defensive end was basically barreling down on him and jumped up way, way high up there. It was like Shaq trying to trying to get a ball over Shaq, man. That was you gotta put a little air under it. All right. 2nd and 10, ball at the 41. Johnson in motion to the right. Stafford looking, throwing it down the seam. Gets it to his receiver, number 5 there. That is, is that Tutu Atwell? There we go. It's going to be a big first down there. Dude, that was a beautiful throw by Stafford. That might have been the best throw of the night, in my opinion. That was right, just perfect timing. Ball was nearly batted away. Just inches on that one, man. All right, 1st and 10, ball at the 41 of Minnesota. Atwell in motion to the left. Stafford under center, fakes the handoff, looking, throwing it deep down the field to the left. He has Tutu Atwell open, and that is going to be an incomplete pass. That is phenomenal recovery by number 7 there. Tutu was wide open down the field, but the ball was a little underthrown. I'm trying to see who number 7 is for Minnesota, but he just did an amazing job of recovering ground there and getting there just in time. That is Murphy. He didn't have enough time, or he was not in a position to be able to look back, but he got there just in time as the ball just arrived there, so he was able to make contact with the ball first. Literally saved a touchdown on that one. Stafford dropping back, and this play is going to be blown dead. It's going to be a false start, I believe, on the Rams. I think that's the 4th or 5th time the Rams have had a false start. All right. Stafford in the shotgun, climbing the pocket, finds Puka Nacua wide open inside the 30, down to about the 27-yard line, and that is a first down. It was 2nd and 15, and he was able to pick up nearly 20 yards. Yeah, Puka just doing a nice little job. He was, looks like he was in the seam and just running a nice little deep crosser there in between the safeties. All right, 1st and 10, ball at the 27. It's going to be a handoff to Williams, and he's going to be able to get maybe a yard on the play. Yeah, you could tell Williams, man, he's in a little bit of pain there. All right, ball is at the 25. 3 receivers to the right. Johnson in motion to the left. Throwing it deep down the field to the right, and that is going to be caught by number 15. That is Robinson with the touchdown. There is a flag on the field, though. We're going to see how it is. Might be defensive PI, actually, on the Minnesota there. And it is. It's going to be pass interference, but they are going to decline it, and it's going to be a touchdown for Los Angeles. Oh, great move at the line, able to get separation immediately. Stafford, he's been underthrowing these just a little bit. But Robinson able to get low and kind of adjust to that ball. And the snap, the hold, and the kick is good. And the Los Angeles Rams take their first lead of this game. 21-17 with 2:36 left in the third quarter. Heck yeah, man. All right, let's continue on our AFC route here. And this is also a preview of a little bit of what I'm going to be planning on next week here. We're going to be doing some power rankings, adding that into the back half of the season of what we're doing here on the channel. Granted, I'm not going to go through every single, obviously, team. We're going to be doing kind of like a top 10, things like that. I might talk about some teams that maybe are not in the top 10 of the power rankings, but maybe they're something a little interesting. Whether I like the direction that they're going, or if it's like the Jets, the memes. So that'll be kind of what we're doing. I'm gonna try to drop those somewhere in on Tuesday or Wednesday. It'll be going live, so it won't just be like a regular video. So those will be a little bit shorter. Hopefully, I'm trying to get those in between anywhere between 10 to maybe 20 minutes. So some more bite-sized content for everybody here. But yeah, I'm going to be adding that starting this coming after this week, basically. So doing some power rankings. I might even do predictions as well, but that might be a separate video. So we'll see. So talking about the Bengals, once again, they've been 3-1 since starting out 0-3. Their 3 wins have not been against tough competition. I think all of those teams that they've beaten have a combined wins of maybe 4 or 5. So I think they beat the Panthers, they beat the Cleveland Browns, and there's one more team I can't think of right now, but that team only has like about 2 wins, I'm pretty sure, at most. So once again, it's tough to kind of gauge where the Bengals are, because offensively, if you look at their 4 losses, they lost to the Chiefs by 1, then they lost. Let me see here. Sorry. Where are we? For some reason, my phone did not want to work. Come on. All right. So they lost to Kansas City by 1. They lost to Washington by 5. And then they lost to Baltimore in overtime by 3. Like literally a combined 9 points. They have lost to arguably 3 of the best teams in the NFL. So they've been able to compete with some of the best teams. Kansas City undefeated, Baltimore 5-2, looking like one of the best teams in the NFL, and then Washington, one of the best up and coming teams, especially offensively with their QB, and they've been able to be within 1 possession of each of those games. Kind of shows you that the Bengals are not a terrible team. I think they've just been situationally very bad. And I think that defense is not helpful either. It's going to be a toss to Jones up the right sideline here. It's going to be gained maybe about 4 yards. And just to wrap up things with the Bengals here. But yeah, I think they're a team that's going to be competing in every game. I would not be surprised if they went on a 4, 5, 6 game run where they just continue to win, but they gotta play a lot better. They gotta clean things up, and they gotta beat the teams that they should beat. They gotta beat them by more than just a couple points. It'll be 2nd and 5 here. Darnold in the shotgun, two receivers to the left, fakes the handoff, looking, pressure, dumps it down to his tight end, and that's gonna be a first down. It's going to be out across the 45. Oh, and the other team I couldn't think of, the Giants. They beat the Giants, beat Cleveland, and they beat Carolina. So yeah, not a whole lot going there. Over the next couple games, they got Philly, they got the Raiders, they got Baltimore again, and then they got San Diego. So, I mean, I could easily see them going 1-3, or I could see them going 3-1. First and 10, ball at the 45. Single back in the backfield. It's going to be a toss to Jones, again to the right, and he's going to be taken down for no gain on the play. All right. Darnold in the shotgun. 3 receivers bunched up on the left. Darnold looking, throwing it down the field. And it's going to get it to number 83 for a gain of about 6 or 7 yards. They are in Minnesota territory, ball at the 48. Jefferson at the bottom of the screen here. And it's going to go to the end of this third quarter, and we are heading to the fourth with the Los Angeles Rams up 21-17 over the visiting Minnesota Vikings. All right, finishing up Cleveland. I mean, they're not competing for a playoff. They probably won't be competing for the playoffs for the next 2 to maybe even 3 seasons. We'll see. They are in a bad spot. That Deshaun Watson contract is looking worse and worse every single day. And now that he is out for the year with a torn Achilles, yeah, it's just it's all bad news for Cleveland. We're gonna see, that defense is not playing to its or to the standard that we're used to. Usually they're pretty solid. Now they're just as bad as almost as bad as the offense. I'm not gonna actually say that they're as bad. That offense has been god awful for a long time. But that defense, yeah, it's no longer, it's not something that they can rely on anymore. And I think eventually this Cleveland Browns, they're just gonna have to mow everything down and just start from the beginning. So, moving on to finally the AFC South. We'll do the NFC at some point in some other game, probably on Sunday at some point when we break it down. But going with the AFC, we talked about the Texans coming off a loss to Green Bay. So go back, let's go. But they look good. Going up against Green Bay, especially that offense, that was by far their worst game that they've had all season offensively. It was obviously the worst game of C.J. Stroud's career in terms of his numbers. He did not look great. He was just getting sacked, pressure almost instantly in his face, and even when he was able to get the ball out, Green Bay just doing a great job in coverage, very tight coverage, able to get their hands on a couple passes. They weren't able to get a turnover, but a lot of batted passes and a lot of throws that were just unable to be hauled in by their receivers. But typically, this team is one of the most explosive offensive teams. They have a really good running back in Joe Mixon. He had a really good game against Green Bay. I think he had close to 120 yards. And the receivers are really, really solid. I think they're missing Nico Collins. So once he comes back, I think this offense is going to get a little bit better. It's going to be very similar to what I think Puka Nacua kind of brought to this offense of the Rams. So I think Nico is going to have a very similar effect for that Texans offense. So 3rd and 3, ball at the 48. Jefferson at the bottom of the screen here. Pressure, and it's going to be thrown to Jonesy down the field to the right, and he is going to be open for a big gain. And that is a first down for the Minnesota Vikings. Yeah, Jones, they put him in the slot there, able to get a loop around, get a lot of space. Oh, man, they had a. Is that a. Oh, my God. Was that a defensive end that was trying to cover Jones? Yeah, you can't do that, man. Jones is not a regular running back, man. I think in Green Bay, dude, he was, for a while there, he was averaging over 40, almost 50 catches per season. He's putting up some decent receiving yardage in Green Bay. So the ball is now at the 23 after that big catch and run. Sorry, after that big catch by Jones. And we have a penalty, and it looks like it's going to be on Minnesota. And instead of being a penalty here, Minnesota, Kevin O'Connell saw it coming, and he just used a timeout here just before the penalty. Looks like they were probably in a illegal formation, so Kevin was just like, you know what, just I'm done losing 5 yards, man. It's been killing us. So use a timeout, keep the yardage. It's going to be a handoff to Jones up the middle. He's going to get inside the 20 down to about the 19. All right. 2nd and 6. Two receivers stacked up on the left. It's going to be another run by Jones, and he's going to be stopped after a gain of 2. Took a shot on that one. Holy cow. Jones unhappy with something a Rams player did during that little scrum. All right, ball at the 16, 3rd and 4. Rams sending some pressure Darnold's way. He's going to be able to step up out of the pocket, and he tries to get it to number 83, who is unable to hold on to that. It was KJ Hamler. Was able to get away from 2 defenders. And honestly, if he would have caught it, he might have had a shot at the end zone here. Darnold just doing a great job of climbing the pocket. And, I mean, Hamler, man, he's wide open. He just unable to haul it in, man, just dropping it. Sorry, not Hamler. That's Naylor there. And kick is up, and it's going to be a 1-point game for the Minnesota Vikings. 12:47 left in this game. All right, guys, I'll be right back here. All right, we are back. Kick is away, and it's going to go out the back of the end zone. Rams will start with the ball at the 30. They are nursing a 1-point lead here with 12:47 left. And it's going to be a flag, of course. And it looks like it's going to be on Minnesota here. Yeah, I'm not really sure what the call was. The ref just said 5-yard penalty, so. All right, 1st and 5, ball at the 35, single back in the backfield. Puka Nacua in motion to the left. Fakes the handoff. Stafford looking, dumps it over the top to Blake Corum, and he's going to get out across the 43-yard line down to about the 44. That'll be a first down. And that's something you saw a lot with Blake in Michigan. They used him in a lot of different ways, man. He's a very versatile back. He's not a huge explosive runner. At least he hasn't shown that in the NFL yet, but very solid. Stafford looking and throwing it to his tight end for a big gain and another first down. Yeah, tight end just going across the field. Nice little crossing route. Ball is at the 38, 1st and 10. Johnson in motion to the left. It's going to be a handoff to Blake Corum, and he's going to cut up the field for a gain of about 2. Clock is going to be under 11 minutes left in this game. All right, 2nd and 8, ball at the 36. Fakes the handoff. Stafford looking. He's going to dump it down to Kyron Williams, who's going to be able to barrel through. It's going to be very close to the first down. It'll be 3rd and 1. Brian Flores, man, he's always so intense. All right, single back in the backfield. It's going to be a handoff, and it's going to go. It's going to be short, I believe. He gained half of the yardage, so it'll be 4th and about half a yard to go. Yeah, Minnesota just doing a great job, man. Getting some good, some early penetration there and some good push. And single back in the backfield should be similar play, and this time Williams able to break a tackle to get past the first down marker. Minnesota did a phenomenal job of getting penetration, but he was able to sidestep the first guy and then able to sidestep another guy to be able to get enough there. Let me see here. Yeah. Got away from number 89, crashing in, and then able to just get enough extension to get the first down. All right. Ball will be at the 26 after a first down run. Johnson in motion to the right. And it's going to be a handoff, and it's going to be a loss of 1 on the play. And yeah, Minnesota right now, they are shooting those gaps. And that was Grenard who was able to get to Williams in the backfield. And I think he took a shot in his head. So I don't know if he's still on the field here, but he was definitely looked like he was knocked out for a second there. Minnesota with looks like 8 guys on the line. Only send 4. Stafford looking deep down the field. Gets it to Cooper Kupp. It's going to be out at the 5 after the catch, but there is a flag on the field when the ball was in the air. It's going to be pass interference on Minnesota. So but Cooper was able to, pretty sure he was able to catch it in bounds, so it should be declined here. Oh, I guess not. No, they accepted it. I don't know why. But 1st and 10, ball at the 16-yard line. And Williams going to be taken down in the backfield by Harrison Smith, the multi-time All-Pro there. All right, it'll be 2nd and 11 here. Stafford in the pistol. Puka Nacua to his left, going in motion to the right. Williams able to pick his way, and he's going to stumble and bust through all the way down to the 10. Holy cow, man. Dude, that dude's impressive, man. That dude is impressive. All right, 3rd and 4. Puka and Cooper both stacked up on the left side. Stafford looking, gets it to a wide open, and that is Robinson again with his 2nd touchdown of this game. Wide open, right down the right end zone. Sorry, the right side of the end zone. See what this route was, man. There was a man on him. Oh, phenomenal job, man. And that was against Harrison Smith, too, man. So Smith basically releasing down the seam. Faked like he was going to basically run a post route. After he took a step, Harrison fully committed to that. And then he was able to cut it back to the corner, wide open, nobody there. The corner stayed underneath to cover basically anything in the flat. So that left Harrison one-on-one with Robinson. And the extra point is good. And we have an 8-point lead here with 6:17 left in this game. So still a one possession game here, but Minnesota was going to need a 2-point conversion here at some point. That was a heck of a route, man, by Robinson. I believe his name is Demarcus Robinson, so let me say his full name. But yeah, dude, that was a freaking great route. Yeah, you can tell Stafford was initially looking to the left. That's where Puka and Cooper Kupp were, and you can definitely tell a lot of that defense was more worried about that side than, you know, where Robinson was. But yeah, man, so far this game has been fun as heck, man. Not as much defensive uh, big plays as I was expecting, but still pretty dang good. So, obviously, with the final couple minutes here, let's finish up talking about the AFC here. So, we talked about the Houston Texans. I think their defense is solid. I think they are gonna be able to do something. I think the biggest thing is they're dealing with so many injuries. I think they were missing 5 starting defensive starters um, against Green Bay. So obviously, I think that did play a part in their loss. But the Packers are just better. Go Pack, go. No, I'm kidding. Um, but obviously, they're dealing with some injuries. They got to get healthy. I think once they get those guys back, I think that defense is going to be playing back to what its potential is. That front seven is freaking phenomenal. I think they have some playmakers on that secondary, so I think Houston's going to be fine. Offensively, I already talked about it. I think once they get Nico Collins and kind of bounce back a little bit, they'll be fine. Sometimes some teams like this, especially, like I always saw it with the Packers. They always had one really bad game. It happens. Houston, oh, man, I don't know. Like at this point, Anthony Richardson, I think he's always needed to sit. I think they were desperate last year, and not necessarily that he's not a great player or he can't be a great player, but I think last year it would have been better if he was sitting. You know, even if it was halfway through the season, that's when they started him. But but they just didn't have any options last year. I think now they do. Joe Flacco, is he gonna win you a Super Bowl? Probably not. But he's probably good enough at this point to be able to get you to the playoffs, especially with the team that you have. So I think use that, get Richardson healthy, get him acclimated a little bit more to playing in the NFL. Because I feel like some of the times he's just running and gunning, and that's just you can't. That's not sustainable in the NFL. And also, he's got to learn to be smart with his body. He's a big dude, but this isn't college level anymore, man. You're not gonna be running into 5'11" linebackers that you can just outrun or outjump. Like everybody in the NFL is fast and big, and they hit hard, man. So Darnold under center, ball at the 30. 2 receivers stacked up on the right, fakes the handoff. Darnold looking, finding his tight end. It's going to be 45, 50, and he's going to go all the way to the 45 of Los Angeles. The big man with a 25-yard catch and run. Let's see here. So he was on the line, blocked, and then released, running a nice little shallow crossing route to the right. And, I mean, there was nobody within about 8 or 9 yards of him. Yeah, was able to get it all across the 50. I think he still stayed in bounds for a little bit after that tackle attempt. So 1st and 10, ball at the 45. Jefferson on the right side. It's going to be a run up the middle with Jones, and it's going to be good for 2 yards. All right, shotgun. Darnold looking, pressure, and he is going to be taken down for a huge sack. He is taken down all the way at the 40. He just kept on running backwards, man. Ooh, that is a rough one. Dude, he lost almost. I think he lost almost 20 yards on that one. Yeah, Verse, dude, he just bowled through two offensive linemen, and he wasn't. I don't even think he's going to be credited for any part of that sack potentially. Yeah, Jared Verse, man, holy crap. So the ball is all the way at the 44. Starnold looking, throwing it deep down the field, and it's going to be incomplete. And it'll be 4th and 21 with 4:18 left in this game. Not a whole lot of time. The Rams, if they can even get a field goal, I mean, they don't need to score any points. They just need to kill the clock. But if they can get in field goal range, make this a 2-possession game, I think we're going to see Minnesota with its second loss potentially here. And right, punt it away here. It's not going to be his best one of the night, but it's going to be inside the 20. So all right, looks like we might be going to one final commercial break here. So let's finish up talking about the AFC South. So talking about the Texans, talking about the Colts here. So I think their best bet right now is going to be with Joe Flacco. He's looked good. He looks like he knows the offense. Seems very comfortable. And I think for the long run, having Richardson sit and I'm not saying he has to learn from Joe Flacco necessarily, because they play completely different ways. And Richardson is a freak athlete, just incredible, and his feet should be part of what he does in the NFL. You see Lamar do it. It should be part of your game, but you need to be smart with it. And on top of that, I think Joe right now, he's going to be better for them. It's good. It's going to allow Richardson to just kind of calm down, recover recover and get going. And who knows? Maybe if they're in a good position later on in the season, we might see Richardson again, and he'll probably be more effective. But he really needs to learn how to really learn a little bit more on how to, I don't want to say read defenses, but just the way he's able to the little things that some quarterbacks do, like Lamar does a great job of looking off the safety, being able to know when to run or when to buy time, getting it down, kind of like traffic control. You'll see Lamar, he's running, but he's telling his guys, hey, this is where I want you, get open. That is something that you should be able to get Anthony Richardson to do, especially in practice. Get those practice reps with those guys, and it should be hopefully this season or coming into next season, Anthony Richard time, and third season has sat for a little bit and is healthy, and hopefully he's going to be able to be a better quarterback on top of his incredible athleticism. Jaguars, a mess a little bit. Not as much of a mess as some of the teams that we've talked about, like the Browns or maybe even the Raiders, or even the team that we're about to talk about last. But yeah, man, I don't know what the heck is going on. That defense is pretty dang bad, especially stopping the pass, god awful. And their offense, it should be a potentially top 10 offense, but it's not good. All right. It's going to be a handoff up the middle. Kyron Williams getting to the 22. Gain of about 3. And the Rams, man, the clock is not going to be under 4 minutes. It's at 3:54, 3:53, 3:52, 3:51, 3:50, 3:49, 3:48 if you want to sync up the final couple minutes of this game. All right, single back in the backfield. Stafford under center. And it's going to be another handoff. And this time, Williams is going to be brought back all the way to the 20 here. Loss of about 1.5 yards. It's going to keep the clock running, but Minnesota will use their second timeout. Trying to preserve a little bit of time. Kind of curious here. So you'll be able to get the ball if you can stop them here. Even if the clock continues to run, you should be able to get the ball before the 2-minute warning. Do you use your final timeout to make sure that you get the ball with as much time as possible? You know, over 2.5 minutes probably, or over close to 3 minutes probably. Or do you save that one, let the basically 40 plus seconds roll off the clock? You'll still get it before the 2-minute warning, but you'll have that final timeout in your back pocket in case of emergencies. So we'll see what they'll do here. Puka Nacua in motion to the left, shotgun, and Stafford looking deep down the field. He gets it to Cooper Kupp wide open, and he's going to be down inside the 45, down to about the 47-yard line, almost at midfield. And Jefferson on the sidelines, shaking his head, not believing that they're about to potentially drop their second consecutive game and losing to a 2-5 Los Angeles Rams team. Cooper having a nice little second half here, man. Obviously a storyline with him. They've been shopping him. They've been calling some teams, see if they want his routes, his hands, and things like that, man. But that's what happens when you're 2-5, man. Once you're on the precipice of not making the playoffs, you know, aging guys with big contracts, you know, if you can get, you know, 5th, 4th, maybe even a 3rd round draft pick for them, it's only going to help you in the long run, man. You can always find receivers in the NFL, in the NFL draft especially, man. You can always find them. So Minnesota obviously used their final timeout. They stopped the clock at 3:19. Minnesota has 6 guys on the line here. They are prepared to stop the run. Nice little run up the middle. It's going to be no gain. Williams, 23 for 97. Puka Nacua, 7 catches, 6 yards. And Matthew Stafford, 270, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. Clock is now going to be under 2:45. And Puka Nacua trying to get around here on the end around to the right, and he's going to stop and be tackled inbounds. So the clock keeps rolling, and this is going to take us to the 2-minute warning. Minnesota can no longer stop the clock. It will be a 3rd down for them, so there is a chance if they can get one more defensive stop here, they can get the ball back with a chance to see if they can tie this up. Bring it to overtime. They're going to need to score a touchdown and the two-point conversion. But once again, the Rams are going to be able to run one more play, so that'll take off at least, you know, close to 40 plus seconds here. So with the punt taking up a couple more seconds, the Vikings should probably get the ball with around 60 seconds left in this game. I'm right there with you, man. Let's go. Let's go with the Rams. Let's go. Get it going. Make this NFC North division even closer than what it already is. Yeah, this would so if Vikings lose, it'll drop them to 5-2, two straight losses. And that gives them, let me see here, Green Bay already 5-2 with an opportunity to go 6-3. Sorry, 6-2 here, and the Lions have an opportunity to go, I think, 6-1. Right? I think they've only lost one game, and they have yet to have their bye. So, and I think what the Bear, where's the Bears records, which is just insane. I'm trying to remember what they are. Are they 5-2? They're 4-2. Oh, they had a bye this week, or this past week. So they have an opportunity to go 5-2 as well. So you could easily have in the NFC North, you can easily have 3 5-2 teams and a 6-1 team, almost halfway through the season. That is crazy to me. I'm right there with you. If you're talking about the Vikings potentially losing, I'm right there with you. 100%. Yeah, it's been amazing. This season has been wild for the NFC North, man. They continue to look like one of the better divisions in football, even with Minnesota stinking it up in the last couple weeks. Well, there's a chance that they might lose. I'm gonna take every opportunity to talk trash about them. All right. I'll stop talking trash about the Vikings as soon as they stop taking former Green Bay Packer players and they move out of the NFC North. Once that happens, they'll be fine. Got some cops. Got some cops outside the stadium here. They got 3 squad cars. All right. Third down. We are back here. Minnesota with 7 guys on the line here. It'll be 3rd and 12. They get it out to Cooper Kupp. He's got some blockers, and he's going to be very close to the 45. And it looks like are they saying he stepped out of bounds? Mm. So Cooper Kupp, unfortunately, stepped out of bounds. He was being tackled, but that stops the clock. That saves about 40 seconds for the Vikings here. So instead of the clock continuing to run all the way down, probably close to 110, and the punt is going to be out of bounds inside the 5. That was a phenomenal punt. That's about as good as you can get, especially in the situation, man. They needed a huge punt. But because Cooper stepped out of bounds, Minnesota is going to have a minute and 46 seconds left. I do not understand why Cooper, like, I get it. You're trying to get the first down, but get as much yardage as you can. And as soon as you come within, I would say 4 or 5 yards of the out of bounds line, you just drop to your knees. If you can only pick up 5 or 6 yards, the seconds that you take off are more important than any yardage that you could get. But yeah, no, that was a great punt. That was a great punt. It might have been actually his best punt or his longest punt of the game here. All right. Ball is at the 5. Empty set here. Darnold looking, throwing to the left, and he is unable to connect with Jordan Addison. That ball was well short. There is a flag, though, 142, and it's going to be a false start. I can't remember how many times we've had a false start. in this game, but it's got to be close to double digits, man. I know the Rams had about 4, maybe 6, and I'm pretty sure the Vikings had at least 3 or 4. Man, this is yeah. This seems like two teams that didn't have a chance to practice a whole lot this week. So they declined the penalty, so it'll be 2nd and 10. Since they're inside the 5, that penalty would have moved them back maybe just like 2.5 yards. So Darnold looking. He's going to be taken down in the end zone, but it might, and it's going to be a safety. At first I wasn't sure because it looked like he grabbed his face mask. But the referees are saying no. I guarantee you this should probably be reviewed because I think it's considered a scoring penalty. But I don't know. It might just be what it is. But that was who was that? Young? Oh yeah, he totally grabbed the face mask. Oh yeah, that's 100% a face mask. They should be able to reverse this one. There has to be some way. Oh, and they're saying they can't review the play? Oh, dude, that's... Listen, man, I want to see the Vikings lose too, but not like this, man. Poor Jones, he's trying to make his case. Aaron Jones trying to help him out, but all right, well, even though it shouldn't be, it's going to stand as a safety, and the Vikings are going to have to basically punt it to the Rams on top of that. So add insult to injury there. Yeah, I'm very surprised that they didn't call that, because to me it even looked from where I was looking at, it looked like a face mask. Well, I think the luck of the for the Vikings is starting to run out here. Yeah, because now it's like they're gonna have an excuse to say that why they shouldn't have lost this game. And the Rams are gonna use a timeout here. So there's always a question I have because I wasn't ever sure. So I know after a safety, the team that basically Minnesota, if you get a safety, if you get tackled in the end zone, you've always had to basically like punt it away to the team. And the only thing I've never noticed, or I've never known whether you could actually do an onside kick, or if it had to be like, no, your punishment is you have to give the ball to them no matter what. So I'm actually going to be curious if they're going to be able to attempt an onside kick. And it looks like they're going to be able to here, because that ball is way up there and it's going to be perfectly caught. And that is by the running back, Kyren Williams. And that will be the end of it here. They're going to take a couple knees, and we're going to be heading out here with the Minnesota Vikings dropping to 5-2, 2 straight losses. Sean McVay talking to Cooper Kupp, saying, yeah, you almost messed it up for us, so we're definitely going to trade you this week. Why are you stepping out of bounds? You almost ruined it for us. All right, Stafford takes a knee. Yeah, man. It's unfortunate for the Vikings, man. It sucks. You know, cause I don't know. I don't think they would have been able to get down the field here. I think just the way that their offense was playing the last. I mean, they only scored field goals in this second half. After scoring those first two touchdowns on their first two drives, they only kicked two field goals the rest of the game. So I don't think they were going to be able to go all the way down the field, basically 95 plus yards, and tie this up. But it's unfortunate that it had to end this way because I think there was, yeah. All right, one more kneel down and we are all done here. So very quickly, just to finish up the AFC here. I was talking about this throughout the entire game, but Tennessee looked like a complete disaster. They are 2 seasons away before they can even compete for the playoffs. I don't think they have the quarterback that they are going to need to be able to compete in the NFL on their roster. Will Levis is not the guy, and their offense is lacking playmakers. They traded away DeAndre Hopkins, obviously, and their defense is, it's okay for what they should have right now, but it's not going to be where they need to be to compete in the AFC. So that's my opinion on all of the teams in the AFC. So kind of sprinkled throughout this entire live reaction to this game. So if you're interested, I'm going to try to chop them up and maybe condense them into a video that I can post a little bit later. So, but absolutely, guys. Seastrom, thank you again, man. I'll see you on Sunday, man. 3 games on that day, so hopefully I'll see you a couple times. Catch you later, brother. Thank you for dropping in. Oh, absolutely. And I agree that the Rams definitely won on their own merit. I don't think that face mask would have changed the outcome necessarily. I think it just obviously it would have probably changed the score and just the way that this game probably should have ended. But I still think the Rams are going to come away with a win. But yeah, no, as a Packer fan, I'm happy. Right now, we have an opportunity to finally make it almost even with the Vikings. Obviously, we need to be able to beat them. Right now, we're half a game behind, even if we were able to win this coming week. But heck yeah, man. So this was a good game. I even talked about it. I wrote it down in the description before this game started. Based off their records, you would think Minnesota's going to be able to win this one easily, but the Rams, very underrated in my opinion defensively. They have playmakers there. You saw it on their defensive line, just getting pressure on Darnold, especially in the second half. And then on top of that, getting guys like Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp back just changes their offense, the way that they function. It's so necessary to have those guys that are so versatile, that are so ingrained in how this offense operates. When both of them are injured, it's a completely different team. It's a completely different quarterback, offense, everything. And then on top of that, you add, those guys coming back, which makes the defense have to focus less on a very good running back like Kyren Williams. This was going to be a very difficult game for any team to go up against. I think the Packers, beat this Rams team early on in the season, but they didn't have Cooper Kupp or Puka Nacua. I think that game would have been very, very different. I still think that Green Bay would have won it, but I don't think it would have been as easy for Green Bay. And granted, it was a very close game regardless, but I think it would have been a little bit more, a little bit harder for the defensive scheme. The way that they had it, they really only had to worry about Kyren Williams, and that was kind of it. Maybe the tight ends, but yeah, man. Either way, this was a fun game. Go Pack, go! And yeah, man. I'm trying to think of anything else I could say here outside of the Rams. Maybe they shouldn't be trading Cooper Kupp here because they have an opportunity. They're 3-5, likely not going to be dominant this season, but I still think they can compete for that 7th seed. Plus, their division it's wide open. They're not that far off from the lead here. They're maybe a game and a half outside the leaders. So yeah, man. And yeah, Matthew Stafford, man, he's a problem. 4 touchdowns. The guy seemed like he was on most of the game. So, but all right, guys, this is gonna be the end of it here. I appreciate you guys. Have a great night. I will see you guys on Sunday. And so, my name is Dave. Thank you so much. And please don't forget, I'm not a coach. Thank you.